Welcome to the Let's Talk with Paula show, where we talk about interesting topics, and sometimes we get a little hot under the collar, but you know that's what it's for, is to exchange thoughts and exchange ideas, and if it's something that we can do about it, you know, what can we do to help protect ourselves? And that's what our topics have been on all three shows. What can we do to protect ourselves in many situations? We've talked about insurances, to the dark web, to hacking, eye camps at your houses. So, you got to watch the other two shows to catch up with this one, okay? All right? So look at Jeremiah first, and then look at the Lady Nighthawk show, and then come back to Let's Talk with Paula, because that would have wrapped us up for the night, okay?
Yep.
So let me let my hosts, and the reason why we have them on here is because they do bring up interesting topics and they give us interesting information, okay? So, good evening, sir, and how are you?
I'm fine. I'm David Barnett. Been on the Let's Talk with Paula show several times over the years. Always have a good conversation.
All of them.
Hopefully we get one tonight.
Yeah, so that's why we have you back. When I want to get people riled up, I make sure I call you. I think it's time to keep you back on the show. Because there's fact, I know that your father was very educated, and you followed his footsteps and your grandfather's, and we went through that whole one time with you. So, and I believe that you're doing the same thing with your son.
I'm trying.
It's
my son is my son, and whatever he shows interest in, I do support it. But yeah, with STEM stuff, we push that hard.
Yeah,
so I mean, he's diving into it, so it works.
Yeah, and and I take my hat off to your parents and your grandparents that they made a wonderful individual that is knowledgeable, about many things, because sometimes we can just get stuck on one thing in life, but you made your own man. But in that, you've taken on knowledge, and I will never forget about going to the racetrack, okay? But we're going to move on that. Ross, let Ross introduce himself.
I'm Ross Levin. Thank you, Paula, for having me back again. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Yes.
I'm the executive director of Roots of Mankind. We're a local nonprofit here in Prince George's County.
And you give us a lot of factual information as well.
Absolutely.
And that's why we have you come on to the show. Now, we've gotten to some heated things, and I always want to make sure that I ask you before you leave, is there something that we need to be concerned that's going on in the housing industry now? So I'm going to start with you this time.
Well, thank you, Paula.
And if you would let us know if some dates are coming up or whatever, let us know.
Well, the good news is they say interest rates are supposed to be coming down, which is good for people who own homes, because those people, your viewers, can try and refinance to get lower payments. The one thing that's very tricky with refinancing is making sure with the closing costs to review the closing costs, because there are transactional costs, which essentially are closing costs, and what happens is that you have to make sure that the savings you're going to get through the refinance, you're able to recoup that. So that if your closing costs, for example, are $1,200, right? That's not realistic, but let's just use that number. $1,200, and you're only saving, say, $100 a month. It's going to take you 12 months. It's going to take you 1 year, basically, to break even. And the closing costs on a refinance are substantially more than $1,200. So when rates do come down, it's important for your viewers to know that they have to look at the closing costs and look at what their new loan amount's going to be, because there are transactional costs that may or may not make it beneficial to refinance.
And that's why they need to come to a
house, to a nonprofit like ours,
yes,
right, where we can go ahead and give them non-biased advice and tell them, explain to your viewers or whoever wants to know that there's the costs. It's going to take you 12 months, 36 months, or whatever the number is, and rates still may go further down. Now may not be a good time to refinance. So it's always good to work with a housing counselor.
And so give that information to them again.
Sure. My name is Ross Levin. You can reach me at 301-899-6800 or on the email at help, H-E-L-P, at ROMKIND.org.
And another thing is that a lot of people are getting notices in the mail about pulling money out their escrow accounts. Is that advisable, that they need to come see to talk to you, somebody like you first, to make sure that that is a good move or not a good move?
Well, the escrow accounts, if they're getting notices because they don't have enough money in their escrow, in the bank, because either the homeowner's insurance has gone up or the property tax has gone up.
No, I was talking about they were telling them that they could borrow against the escrow account.
I don't think you want to do that.
I have not heard of that.
Yeah, that you could go in. Oh, I know people that have gotten money out of, not the escrow, what is it called?
Are you talking about a home equity line?
Equity loan,
okay.
I'm sorry, thank
Yes.
you. Not escrow, equity.
Okay.
Home
yes.
equity line, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So because there's so much equity, people have equity in their homes. There's a big uptick for consumers, homeowners, to go ahead and borrow money against the property, secured by the property, at whatever the prevailing interest rate is, to be able to go ahead and either get a lump sum loan, a credit line, perhaps consolidate bills, maybe buy a new car. But the important thing for your viewers to know is that the loan that they get, that if they don't make payments on that, they can lose their home. That's what's a second mortgage.
Okay.
So they're going to go ahead and pledge the security, which is the house. And if they don't make monthly payments on the loan, home equity line of credit, second mortgage, it's a lien against the property.
Okay.
Your viewers should know that they can lose their home.
So that's why they need, once again, to come talk to somebody like you
Absolutely.
before they do anything. And they
Yes.
shouldn't call anybody until they come talk to you.
Right.
Okay. One more question. Some people are being asked that if they're running like 1 month behind, that they can put their loans at the end of their mortgage. Is that advisable?
Well, everybody has hardships. The most important thing that someone can do is call an organization like ours. We are a nonprofit, so we can go ahead and we can help them and give them advice on perhaps either it's a loan modification, or if it's maybe it's a short-term hardship, like they're unemployed, they could get a short-term forbearance, something like that. But the information that we give is free of charge. So if your viewers have issues
I'll send
making
them to you.
payments, please have them reach out to us. Again, my email address is help, HELP, at ROMKIND.org.
Yeah, because those were some questions that I've been waiting. I was going to ask you last week that I needed to make sure, because I told them that you were coming on to the show, and I said if you're having that problem, somebody else is having the same problem.
Absolutely.
And so it's better to bring it to the show, and then that way they know what to do. Because you hear different things, you see different things. They're flooding people with all kinds of stuff. We were talking about fraud. And so you have to be careful not to, the Medicare people even tell you, do not give your Medicare number out to anyone. Call Medicare, because now they're even asking people if they want to get on these Advantage programs and things like that. And, you know, they ask them for personal information that they should not be given, that they could call.
If you have Medicare, you need the supplement policy.
No, you
they
do.
push that.
No.
They push that with people that are in there, so you'll get a lot of calls just because it's an easy sell for the agent.
But they also say it's an easy scam.
It's an easy scam too, because you're going to give out your information.
Yes, and so they're telling you not to give out the information, and to make sure you call them, and they can tell you whether or not that's a legitimate company or not. But do not give your Medicare number out to anybody if you're not familiar with them. To call Medicare, Medicare is 24/7, okay? You could call that number, you can talk to a rep, and you can tell them exactly what it is that you have, and ask them whether or not, is this a legitimate company? Should I be trying to get this, you know, or not? And I would best say those are the best people to call, because they say there are a lot of Medicare scams that are out here that companies are calling, saying that they can help you and they can get you into a better policy, like with these Advantage plans. And a lot of them are just getting information where they're still an identity theft, okay? So if you get something like that, you can go see Reverend Ross, and he can make those calls for you while you're sitting right there, and check it out for you. And then that way y'all can have a conversation on whether or not what you should do and what you should not do. Did I say that wrong?
No, Paula, you said it just right.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that, you know, his credits are at the end of the show, but I just want to make sure. I did get a letter yesterday from my financial aid, and I know that the television has announced again that they are trying to do some forgiveness and do some things with people with their student loans. And so mine came from my agency, but here again, going back to the fraud thing, that people can make up logos, letters, anything. They look exactly like the person that you're getting the information from. So once again, I would not call that number. If you stay in touch with the student, federal loan people, or your financial aid servicer, I would call them, okay, and ask them whether or not is this true so far as my student loan is concerned. Yes, it will, because I've called.
The people who you got the loan with, they weren't the best with information.
Oh no.
I got mine
weren't.
forgiven. My sister got hers forgiven. My cousin got his forgiven.
Yeah.
There's a website that you have to go to. One, your loans have to be consolidated for you even to be considered. Two, there's a website that you go to that's run by the government. And you got to go through like 5 steps to prove your identity before they even let you do a username and a password. Once you do that, then within a week or two, they'll pull all your loans up that you got. And if you qualify, what happened was the requirements to get a loan forgiven were very stringent. They did it, but they probably, before Joe Biden started doing what he was doing, they were probably forgiving maybe less than $300 a year out of all the student loans. Then he changed some of the rules. One, what classified as a nonprofit. My sister became eligible because he changed the rules to include hospitals. She had worked for HR at a hospital for like 15 years, so she was automatically eligible. $225,000 gone. My cousin worked for a university for 10 years, became forgiven. Me, he changed the rule, you just gotta do 240 months? It's 20 years. If you pay for 20 years, no matter if you paid it off or how close you were to paying it off. Once you have your 20 years worth, they'll forgive you. And with that 20 years, they include a bunch of time. Like if all right, during COVID, Joe Biden said nobody had to pay their student loans. They counted that time. All those months, that was like 3 years. They counted that time. They counted a bunch of stuff. So if you fit in, you don't really have to do anything but go to that website and put your information in. And then I'll never forget, they sent me an email on a Sunday morning. Congratulations, your loans have been forgiven. Go to the website of whoever services your loans. You'll see a zero. I took a picture. You'll see a zero balance. I went there and it was a zero balance. I didn't, outside of, that was months after I had gone in and put all that information in the website.
Right.
The time difference might have been like 6 months later, but you don't have to do anything. They'll contact you, whatever information you give them. If you tell them you want to send me a letter in the mail, they'll send a letter. If you want an email, they'll send an email. You want a phone call, they'll call you, and they'll notify you.
All I'm saying is that they're sending. We talked about this some time ago too when it first came out, but now I'm seeing that it's a couple of people contacted me and they got letter. I always tell them to go to studentaid.gov and find out anything they want, or call your servicer, like he said, and they will put you in the right direction. All I'm saying is that just make sure that you're talking to the right people, because there are people that are fraudulently making things look just like it's coming from the right people, and it really isn't those people. So studentaid.gov is the right place. You know whoever your servicer is, and if you've been dealing with them for years, you know what their correct phone numbers are, and they will direct you in the direction that you want. I too know people that have gotten their loans that have been forgiven, or so much of it has been forgiven. Now, people that in age that did not have to pay on those loans, and they have what they call a SAVE program for them. If you've been in that SAVE program, like he says, for so many different years or whatever, then they'll forgive so much. But the SAVE program basically is for those people that are senior citizens, you know, that got all this college debt. And you need to call and check on that, because the new program that they have that's with studentaid.gov now is talking about taking you out that particular program and putting you into a program where you can get some of your loans forgiven. So my suggestion to you is to check it out, make sure that it is with studentaid.gov. Also make sure that your servicer, that you talk to them, and make sure it's the right thing for you to do. Because sometimes things that sound good all the time aren't good for you long term. But I'm just saying, check it out to make sure. And that's all I ever tell you. Do your homework. Make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. We also have an election that's coming up, okay, in Bowie. We have an election that's coming up in a couple of days for the mayor's seat, and there's a couple other people that you have that's running for another office. So I suggest that you vote, and to look up and see, like I said, do your research and find out who it is that you're trying to vote for, okay? Because these are special elections that not only all of them are running at the same time in different cities and places, but they having special elections all over the country. So make sure that you look and make sure that you vote. And it's very important that we vote. They had early elections, but now they're getting ready to have the election. So please get out there and do your homework and make sure that you're putting the right people in the right positions, okay? Because the election that's in November, it's going to be very important for all of us on how things turn out. And so all I can say to you is to vote and do your homework and make sure that you vote for the right person. Anybody?
About voting?
Mm-hmm.
No comment.
I think it's important for, like you had said, Paula, I think it's important for your viewers to know that if they're not happy, if they want change, that they should go ahead and voice their opinion for whoever they want to vote for, whether it's a local election or it's a national election. Like
or a special election.
Or a special election. That without going ahead and voicing your opinion, and if you're not happy, you should go and support that candidate or the candidates, whoever you want to support. But that's the only way things will be able to go ahead and change, if that's what your viewers are looking for.
And especially in Bowie, because it would be a movement of seats, you know. If the mayor gets elected, you know, for the position that he's running for, then you would, you know, have movements that you have in different areas for different seats. There's so many, like I said, there's so many special elections that they have that if you're not keeping up with it, you're gonna miss it, okay? But even in these special elections, the people that get these seats do make a difference of when we have our big elections in September, okay? So it is so very important that you pay attention and go out and do what you have to do. They gave you an early election period, okay, but now you have the election itself if you did not do early elections. So in the DMV and different places, they actually have elections as well. But I'm talking right now to my Bowie viewership, okay? and PG County viewership. I'm asking you to do the right thing and to do your homework, because it really depends on what happens here for us and to us, not only in Bowie, but also in Prince George's County, Maryland, okay? Now, we were talking about something else. Anybody have a special topic? 'Cause my throat is gone.
No, I didn't have particularly a special topic. We were talking about the election, hacking, a few other things. The election, that's a sensitive subject. People.
Well, it is a sensitive subject for everybody. It's a heated subject, but the thing is that it's important again that there are two candidates,
And I think that's what the problem is.
And
I think that it should be an overhaul of the whole system. I think they should change rules. I think you should, there's a cutoff for the age you have to be to run for president. There should be a cutoff on the other end. I think that 65, the retirement age, should be the cutoff for the president. If you want to run for president, if you don't do it by 65, it shouldn't happen. I think that they should probably have more than one political party, more than two political parties, two main political parties. You're either Democrat, Republican, or Independent. Some years, the best option may be an independent who will never get enough votes to win, but will possibly get enough votes to mess up one of the candidates.
And that's usually what usually happens in
Kennedy's running in this one.
Well, we know that he is not a right mind either, based on the things that are coming out of his mouth, not what the news people are putting out, but things that we actually see clips of him that he's saying. Different things, but we also saw different clips of things of different people that Vice President Trump had that was coming out for books and things that they were saying. So that's why I'm saying, do your research. You can't just go by and listen to what somebody says on television, or what somebody else's opinion is. You need to go. That's public information. They can go look it up for themselves. Now that 65, I agree with you. Okay. There should be. I also think that they should have terms for the Supreme Court justices, okay? They should have terms for the people that are in the Senate and that are in the House. I think that all of those should be term seats. Things change. We still have some of the same people that's been there forever, and they've done great things. If they're doing great things, go look it up and make sure that the things that they're doing are great and wonderful for you. What have you done for me lately? What are you doing for your country? What are you doing for the constituents in this United States of America? Look it up. Don't take what somebody then put on the news or, let me tell you why I won't. Every day I get something. One time I even got something from Trump, okay, about making donations through a text message. I will not click on links, first of all. Then I got too many people asking for money for the same person. How do I know where this money is going? So I'm not going to, that's me. You do what you got to do. I would rather have a number that whoever that person is that's running, to say, call this number if you want to make a donation. Just like they do for, churches.
That's setting up a scam.
Well,
if you come up with a number, they'll come up with another number, one digit off, put it out there, and maybe just,
I don't answer
5% of the people call and donate.
I don't answer those calls. I don't care if it's one digit at all. I don't answer them. Okay, that's why I said the numbers that you have, that you know for certain places or things that you've been using for years, you can call down at the White House and get the phone number for anybody that you want. You can call down there and they will give you any number that you want. You can ask them anything that you want to ask them. So you don't even have to worry about what somebody is telling you or what you're getting through a text message. All I'm saying too, with this day and age, with so much fraudulent stuff going on, and just like you said, they can change it because that's what these companies do. They call you on one number from 301 That ain't your number. I don't answer it. I don't know who you are. You block it. Then they call you on a different number
Yep.
with a different area code. Then I've even got something to say that it's a phone number that's from here, but underneath of it says it's from the Philippines, okay? So I'm saying that the phone numbers, that's bad, okay? That's really bad, because the more you block them, the more that they come up and they give you these other numbers. I don't care who they are.
What I do is have fun with them.
I don't. I ain't got time.
I do. If you have fun with them and play with them and string them along for about 10, 15 minutes, and I don't do it in my voice. I do it in a different voice. And I have a ball. My son comes and he's listening. He knows what's going on. My wife is there. They on the phone trying to talk to me about something or give them a credit card number. And I just break out in a voice that, Jimmy don't live here. And we'll go through this, and then I'll say, okay. And he'll say something like, Western Union me the money, and then I'll start playing dumb and ask questions, and we have a great time.
Yeah.
It's fun for all.
The older people don't have that kind of time.
They won't call back.
They're not going to do that. They get suckered in.
They won't call back. The demographic they're looking for is the older people, the elderly people, the people who lonely and will talk to you on the phone.
Yeah. And
most young people, if you just don't sound right as soon as I answer the phone, click.
But then they'll use another number and call you back. Not right away. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You agree with me, but what I'm saying, I'm not going to get on the phone with them and play games. All I'm going to do, nope, wrong number, click. If I answer it, that's only because I'm expecting a call from some number I don't know. Because the numbers that I know, I don't have a problem with. But when I start getting these crazy numbers that I know I don't know, because I'm waiting for a call from somebody that I'm expecting, so what I'll do is I'll answer it, and it's not for me anyway, okay? And it's not, so I hang up the phone. I tell them they got a wrong number, and click, and I immediately block them, okay? But I'm just saying that I thought they could put some kind of rule out at one point that you can't do that they had to stop doing that. And it just really, during this political season, it just really gotten out of hand.
You have to register on a list.
Yeah, but
And then you just tell them I'm on a do not solicit list, and they won't call back if it's reputable, because they'll get fined.
But I'm on a do not call list.
If they're reputable, they won't call back because they'll get fined. If it's a scammer, he does not care.
Then I have to report it.
Right.
Yeah, I have to report it.
Yeah, whatever the company is, all you have to do is just report them.
Yeah, I have to report it. So you can't, it's just not that simple. You would have to go back and actually have to report it, that this number is a scam number, or you don't know, but you told them not to call you, and do not call. Please stop it, and they will investigate it. But you have to do step 2. Not just being on a do not call list is just not going to get it anymore. One time it did, but not anymore. So, I'm so glad that both of you guys are here, because, it's a lot of information, a lot of topics that we always talk about, and I think that the American people and the people that live in the Bowie need to know. So I just want to say thank you, Dave, for coming out, and Ross for coming out, and I'm sorry about last week. And with that, we want to say good night.
Good night.
And take care.